Hello everyone, this is my video demonstration for the task 2.1p design and prototype. The requirement of this task was to create a minimal web API. Let's see the code now. First, we import necessary headers and libraries that are required to run the project. Next, we create the web application using createBuilder method. This initializes builder for configuration of the application. We use builder services.add endpoints API Explorer to enable API for endpoints. And finally, we call the build method to build the project. Then we create an array of robot commands. This array includes the command left, right, place, and at last move command. It has a property isMove command that is set to true. This refers to that this command is used to move the robot. Next, we have the endpoints. The first endpoint that we have is for testing purposes. This returns hello robot. Next endpoint is to access all the robot commands, including the ones that we mentioned earlier and other commands that we add during the runtime of the program. The next endpoint is mapget, get robot command by ID. In this endpoint, we can put any ID of the command and can access that particular robot command that is associated with that ID. If the robot command does not exist, it returns us with not found. Otherwise, it returns us with the command. The next endpoint is post. In this, we can add new robot commands to our array of previously made robot commands. This uses the context to read the user data and append it into the array. On successful appending onto the array, it returns us with a status code that it has been created. The next endpoint is map_put. This endpoint is used to update any previously made robot command using its ID. On successful updation, it responses us with the response code of OK, and the command with ID has been successfully updated. The next is delete endpoint. This endpoint also uses the ID of the robot command to delete the required robot command from the array. On successful deletion, it responses with an OK and the command has been deleted successfully message. Similarly, I have created endpoints for the robot map functionality. First, we have the get command for the robot maps. What this command does is that it generates a random map, picking any value from 2 to 100 and generates a map. Next, we have map get robot map coordinates. What it does is that it reads the coordinates given by the user and checks if those coordinates exist in the map. The next endpoint is map_put. This endpoint uses to this endpoint is used to create a new map and update the value of previously created map. It has validation such that the user cannot enter a value that is less than 2 or greater than 100. And at the last, we have the app run. This helps to run the application and it continues until the application is terminated. Next, we have defined a class of robot commands. It has the properties of command name and isMove command. As you can see, I have used context in this code. Context is essential for interacting with incoming request and outgoing response within the .NET application. It allows the code to read request data and write response codes. Overall, the user can change the size of map, run the application, and define a robot command class with properties of command name and isMove command. This is the overall code. Now let's see the output of the code. This is the command that is used to run the code. As you can see now, our code is successfully compiled and is running on localhost port number 5076. Now we shift to the Postman services. This service is used to run the commands that we previously made. It is really helpful. Here you can see we have defined the API host to localhost and the port to 5076. This helps that we do not require to change the endpoints again and again. Now let's run the very first endpoint that we created. That was this map-get that returns hello robot and see if it worked correctly. Here I have put the endpoint that we created. Now let's send it. Here you can see that we have received the message that can be displayed here. Hello robot. This means that our endpoint is working correctly. Next we have the endpoint of get robot commands. Let's send it. Here we can see that what it does is that it returns us the previously created robot commands that we created in the code. As you can see here. Now let's see the next endpoint, that is move commands endpoint. In this endpoint, what it does is that it gives us the values of the robot commands that we have set to true. As before in the array, we have set to the fourth command is move command to true. Here we can receive it. We can clarify it if we add a new command to this commands. Here let's create a new command. Say it can be jump 3 steps and we put this it to true. Now what this does is that we have named our command jump 3 steps and done its property is move command to true. Let's send it. We can see that it has been created successfully with the code 201. Let's get all the commands again and see if it has been appended to the array. Here we can see that our last command is jump 3 steps that we have just created during the runtime and its property is set to true. Now when we run this endpoint again, it will give us all the commands that have this property set to true. As we can see that we have received the newly created command. Next, the endpoint is that we can get any command by its ID. Here we can see that the command on ID 3 has been given to us. I have already shown you the post command. Let's move to the put command. It is used to perform the update task. Now here, let's change the command number 2 to jump around. Okay, we send this endpoint and we check all the commands. See, as you can see that the command at index number 2 has been set to jump around. We can also change its move command property if we want to. Similar is about the get robot maps. What it does it creates a random map taking a random size from 2 to 100. It creates a map. Next we have read coordinates. Like the map is now created to 12. That means up to coordinate 9 or up to coordinate even 10, it will run successfully and it will show that the map contains this coordinate. Next we can update the map size as we require. If we update the map size to 7, it creates a map of matrix 7 by 7. So this is all about this code. Thank you.